Um, I first met Christian McBride, I'll say this is 1998. He was playing at the Regatta Bar in Boston, Massachusetts, Cambridge actually, Massachusetts, with his group at the time consisting of Tim Warfield, Rodney Green, and Shedrick Mitchell. And you know, me being in college, I tried to meet everybody. I just wanted to play. So I went up to Christian and I said, hey man, you know, I play vibes and I hope to play with you one day. He said, okay. That was the end of that. So in 2000, I signed up for his jazz camp that he was running in Aspen, Colorado. And he had a big band for the most part. That's when he was first starting to write for big band. And I don't think he realized that a vibraphonist was coming. So, you know, I've always been a fan of his music. So I remember during one of the rehearsals, he had an arrangement of his composition, The Shade of the Cedar Tree. And he came to me and said, hey man, you know, I don't have a vibes part. And I said, you know, don't worry about it. I know the song. He didn't believe me because I guess a lot of people have said that. But once we played the song in the rehearsal, I played the song straight down without any music, played all through the changes without any music, and he was pretty impressed. So he asked me for my number, and it took a little while, but I would say about 5 to 7 years later, somebody from his office called one day and they said, hey, Warren Wolf, Christian would like for you to join him at the Village Vanguard. Now, I thought this was a joke. I thought it was a prank call. I was just like, yeah, right, you know, somebody stopped playing. And they said, no, we're serious. We want you to come up and play a week with Christian. So Christian at the time, outside of his band, the other band he was doing called the Christian McBride Band with Terry Young Gully, Ron Blake, and Jeff Keezer, he had these experiment groups called the Christian McBride Situation. So I thought it was going to be one of these. So for the Vanguard, he brought together myself, Steve Wilson, Eric Reed, and Carl Allen. We had 6 wonderful nights together at the club, and I thought that was going to be it. I was like, great, I lived my dream, and I played with Christian McBride. Let's move on to the next one. But people were raving about the band. They said, you guys sound great. Let's keep the band together. So all of this stuff is totally new to me. I never really been in a band. I've been on maybe 2 tours prior to this, but I've never really been in a touring band. So I didn't know what was happening. So they booked 2 gigs for us. We played somewhere in South America, and right after that, we played the main stage at the Monterey Jazz Festival. And I was thinking, okay, great, we did 2 gigs. And next thing you know, right after Monterey, they said, well, we're going to go to Berkeley, California, and we're going to record a record. This is Christian's debut on Mack Avenue Records, and we recorded the record Kind of Brown. And again, I'm still thinking, great, I recorded a record with Christian McBride. I was very happy, but I didn't know what to come of this. It came out, and now I got a broader you know, perspective on things. We wound up touring that record for 4 years, and it opened the door for me in so many ways. From me getting a record deal with Mack Avenue to touring the world with Christian and meeting all types of wonderful people, eating all good foods, and you know, just being everywhere. It was a wonderful 4 years, 4 to 5 years, and actually we're still touring nowadays, even though Christian has multiple projects going on, but we still tour from time to time, and it's just a great ride, and we'll continue it on. Well, it wasn't anything, what I learned from Christian, it wasn't so much verbally. He didn't pull me aside to say, okay, do this and do that, you know. It was kind of like just watching him and listening. The main thing for me is I have perfect pitch. So listening to him play, like he's, as a bass player and as a musician, he plays some things on the bass that you just don't expect to hear from a bass player. So I'm listening to certain ideas, and it kind of makes me think like a horn player, which is what I always wanted to do. Of course, I've checked out Milt Jackson and Bobby Hutcherson and all the greats, but I've always wanted to play like a horn player when it comes to vibraphone. So I listened to Christian play, and I'm thinking he's thinking like a horn player, somebody like Charlie Parker or whatever else. So what I kind of learned right there was, don't just stick with your instrument. Try to learn something else from, or try to take some different ideas from another horn player or pianist or whatever. I would say the other thing that I've learned from Christian is how to entertain the crowd. A lot of jazz musicians, in my opinion, this is strictly just my opinion, they are all about pleasing themselves, and they don't have good mic skills and things like that. But I noticed with Christian, he's smiling, he's on stage, he's interacting with the crowd. He might crack a few jokes here and there, and he's keeping the audience engaged. And that's one of the things I loved about him. Another thing I learned is, not saying I'm the best at it, but I've just noticing the way he dresses, and I notice he just looks very cool on stage and things like that. So I noticed there's a certain image that also comes along with the music. It's not all about the music, it's about your image, how you present the music and how you're speaking, making sure you're very fluent and just communicating very well with the audience and the people around you. So that's what I learned from Christian McBride. Warren Wolf.